I want to start immediately by, obviously, VeChain has been around for some time. I remember in 2015-16, when the VeChain launched, I used to live in Hong Kong, and I remember the whole hype around VeChain. And you guys focused from the early on, not on crypto, but let's say on blockchain, enterprise blockchain, on DLT, from great use cases you had. I remember from combating fakes to sustainability. Where are you seeing the appetite right now from corporates and enterprises on enterprise blockchain and the growth that you're seeing in that space?
Thank you, Henry. Firstly, welcome to be here. Actually, I would say the enterprise is going to another level in terms of the appetite of the applications. First, I think to the regulation change, basically sweeping the barriers for anybody coming to look at the space, and also even looking at the technology. It's no more just the scandals or bad events in the crypto side, but going to the mainstream. So more enterprise, getting more interest and, try to look at the opportunity to build the different type of applications. Also, on the other side, I would say, let's say if we talk about AI or internet in general, it's a technology for productivity, while blockchain is actually the technology for relationship. I would say enterprise is also looking at the new level, try to reform or build the new type of relationship between enterprise with the individual users. Simply say, individual users no more just consumers, but let's say could be our partners, could be our co-workers, work for a big mission together.
On this particular topic, Sunny, historically, when we look at enterprise blockchain, you mentioned the relationship between the enterprise and its users. The big problem was always the adoption of it, right? It was obviously very difficult to adopt blockchain in any enterprise context. Do you think it's become easier now for corporates to adopt blockchain technology, to use the proverbial blockchain, not crypto analogy that we used to use in the past?
Yeah, it's much easier. Honestly, if you think about or look back like 8 years ago or 10 years ago, for sure, now it's so much better. Majorly from 3 aspects. One is, like I said, the regulation side, kind of sweep the barriers. The second is actually there are so many different type of infrastructure to ease the adoption for the users. Like the custodian, like the social logging. People don't need to take care of the hassle about using the wallets or private keys and everything. And last but not least, I would say it's the product itself and more different type of various applications touching to people's daily life, and you can use it not just for trading or even playing the different DeFi protocols, but you can getting those up using the applications to create the impacts on your daily life. It will ease the adoption for the normal users.
So on that, Sunny, you mentioned obviously regulation, infrastructure, and product of day-to-day use. When you talk to your clients, enterprise clients, obviously VeChain, is going through its renaissance, to use the terms that VeChain is using right now. From obviously for what you guys are doing in the payment side, and even how your consensus mechanism works. But when you're talking to these enterprise clients, what are the use cases now that you are seeing that they want to implement blockchain, where previously they were not using DLT to do so?
I would say, let's say for sure, they're all starting from the original thinking, like, the usual track and trace, proof of existence, that kind of the use cases coming from the technology of like a blockchain. But also more and more people are caring more like, how do I engage with my users? How do I, create some of the use case with my user so we can, do something together? So basically, like I said, the blockchain is a technology for a new relationship. It kind of raises up the awareness for the enterprise. Okay, I can do something. I can enable something which I was not able to do that with my users together. For example, like sustainability areas. Basically, enterprise can engage the user to try to achieve a bigger mission together thanks to the blockchain technology.
But on this particular point, are you seeing a shift? Over the years, we had this big debates on private chains versus public chains. Are you seeing that conversation move over these discussions, or is that still a debate when you're talking to enterprise clients?
I won't say like the private chain is no more existence, but more and more people don't really care about the infrastructure anymore. It's just about like, how to build the applications, how to create the utilities. Honestly, I would say more than 90% of the enterprise conversation will not even talk about this. Basically, it took by default, okay, we're going to build the applications on the public blockchain. And in my opinion, the private blockchain is just either for some very special use cases or either for laboratory, explorations.
Yeah. And what about the ESG topic? I remember years ago, that was also a big debate of, obviously we used to be proof of work, then proof of stake, and obviously there was the whole environmental footprint debate. I know this is something VeChain spends a lot of time as well on, the whole ESG sustainability debate. Is that a topic that is coming up in these enterprise conversations?
Oh, of course. Actually, that was the reason why we pivot and upgrading our strategy to sustainability back to 2022, 23. Firstly, we find quite a common use cases from our previous enterprise use cases, like sustainability management for H&M, the carbon credits management for BYD, and food safety for Walmart China is quite a common cases or common demands. And also following the thought, how to build the new relationship with individuals, work with individuals, or incentivize, motivate the individual to do something together. And sustainability or ESG is just the low-hanging fruits.
And last question, Sunny. I mean, you mentioned Walmart China, and there's been obviously the whole debate with crypto in China, but obviously blockchain has been continuing to grow. Maybe quickly, like, where are we with blockchain in China right now, and are you seeing that ecosystem continue to grow in mainland China?
Yeah, I always say especially about the mainland China, it's still very bullish about the blockchain technology per se, but also they play a little bit safe or conservative in the crypto adoption. But honestly, in my opinion, from the technology point of view, crypto and the blockchain is kind of like two peas in one pot. You cannot separate them together. But the good thing is right now, the Hong Kong is very aggressive in terms of the regulation about crypto. We can see some of the ETF, some of the stablecoin regulation or RWA regulation coming from the Hong Kong market. So basically, in my opinion, I feel like the Hong Kong is a testing a sandbox for the China mainland, but eventually, I don't believe anybody should be left behind.
Well, let's see how that goes. There's definitely a lot of action happening in that part of the world as well. That was Sunny Lu, the founder of VeChain. Thanks, Sunny, for being with us at Crypto Weekly today.